Aisha stood in the boardroom, fired from the very company she built from scratch. The name on the office door was still hers, but the people inside had changed. It started with whispers, then meetings she wasn't invited to. Investors slowly turned cold. And one day, her co-founder, once her closest friend, sat across from her with legal documents. "You're no longer aligned with the company's vision," he said, eyes blank. Her voice didn't shake. She simply nodded, packed her things, and walked out. But as she sat in the parking lot, gripping the steering wheel, one sentence echoed in her mind. "They think I'm done. They have no idea what's coming." She spent weeks in silence. No interviews, no revenge posts, just notebooks full of scribbles and late-night research. She moved into a smaller flat, sold her car, and lived off savings. Every day, she wrote down the mistakes she made in her first company. Every day, she mapped out something better, something cleaner, something unstoppable. She reached out to a few engineers who had quietly left after she was pushed out. They didn't ask for explanations. They just said, "When do we start?" They worked in cafes, on rooftops, in libraries, building a leaner, smarter version of what she once dreamed, only this time with tighter code and sharper vision. 6 months later, her new startup PulseCore launched. No PR campaign, no billboard, just a beta link shared with a few loyal clients who believed in her. And it worked. It ran smoother, scaled faster, solved real problems that her old company had ignored in pursuit of flashy growth. Word spread through word of mouth and Slack communities. Clients left the old platform for hers, quietly but consistently. And then came the press. The founder returns, and she's not playing nice. PulseCore is everything her last startup couldn't be. Suddenly, she was back on magazine covers, but this time on her terms. Meanwhile, her old company, cracks started to show. Without her, innovation had stalled. Decisions were made for shareholders, not users. Bugs piled up. Teams quit. Clients churned. The co-founder who pushed her out tried to pivot, rebrand, raise another round. But every investor knew what they knew. Aisha was the reason that startup worked. Not the brand, not the board, her. In less than 18 months, PulseCore overtook her former company in user base, funding, and revenue. And then came the final blow. Aisha bought out her old company, not to save it, but to retire it. She shut it down with a simple note to users. Startups are run on vision, not ego. Today, Aisha stands at the helm of a 300-member team spread across 4 countries. Her new company, PulseCore, isn't just a startup, it's a movement. It operates with purpose, with empathy, and with a razor-sharp mission to never let another dreamer be pushed out of their own vision. She no longer craves the spotlight. She's seen what it brings and what it can take away. So, instead of chasing headlines, Aisha uses her platform to amplify others. She speaks at select conferences, but only the ones where real conversations happen, where young women nervously clutch notebooks, hoping someone will tell them they're not crazy for dreaming big. She tells them, they might underestimate you. Use that. Surprise is a powerful weapon. Aisha now quietly invests in early-stage founders, especially solo entrepreneurs who are building from heartbreak, from rejection, from pain. She reads every pitch herself, not because she doubts her team, but because she knows what it's like to write a pitch at 3 a.m. with a trembling hand and a broken heart. Her Mondays don't start with meetings. They start with solitude, with a notebook, with the same words she once wrote in a tiny apartment, lights flickering, doubt hanging heavy in the air. They didn't break me. They built my clarity. Every office of PulseCore has a quiet room, not for calls or naps, but for breakdowns, for breathing, because Aisha knows that genius often comes after the tears. In interviews, journalists still bring up the betrayal. Do you still talk to your ex-co-founder? Would you ever work with him again? She always smiles, warm, unbothered. I didn't lose my company, she replies. I left a version of myself behind, and in that loss, I found someone better. She knows now. Sometimes you need to be pushed out of the room to realize you could build your own building, with your own door, and your own rules. Outside her new HQ, An elegant, sunlit structure in Bangalore. There's a steel plaque by the glass entrance. Visitors often stop to read it. Some take photos. Others just stand and let the words sink in. You can push her out of the room, but you can't shut the door on her future. Those words aren't revenge. They're remembrance. Of the nights she didn't quit. Of the silence she turned into strength. Of the moment she stopped trying to belong and started to lead. Because in the end, Aisha didn't just build a comeback. She built a legacy.